everyone. Thank you for joining us today for SoftServe live webinar Overhauling BFSI Software from Outdated to Innovative. Please send your questions to webinar@softserveinc.com or here in live chat. We will gladly answer them during our questions and answers session at the end of the webinar. And now, let me introduce our speaker, Antonina Skripnik, Product Manager at SoftServe.
Hello, everyone. We are very glad to welcome you here. We are very happy that so many people joined us at the moment. So, my name is Antonina, and I'm a product manager at SoftServe. Today, we would like to introduce you a bunch of interesting facts concerning the overhauling the software in such specific segment of global market as BFSI. What is actually BFSI? BFSI is the banking, financial services, and insurance. It is an industry word, an industry term that is used in IT segment of the industry to name the classical financial services providers. And today we will talk about the few topics concerning this theme. The industry state and trends, the challenges and client needs that arise at the market, some specific and interesting results and numbers of the survey that SoftServe has conducted recently. A few tips and tricks and buzzwords that you have to keep in mind when embracing the digital transformation of the software that you have got in your organization, and a few interesting case studies in the end of the webinar. So we will start. What are actually the main industry trends present at the market, and what are the challenges that BFSI companies face at the moment? We will just name a few of them. The one and the mainest from my point of view is the design thinking and omni-channel and everything that is aligning to the customer digital experience. So the main purpose and the main goal of current of companies currently is to make the blend of the physical and digital experience throughout the whole customer journey. So the customers are very used to convenience of their everyday social life. They are very used to use the information on the go, and they do transfer this experience from their social life to their professional life. So the financial services providers have to align with those needs of their customers. They have to provide services at the quality that is provided in their social lives of their customers. The technology trends that we have seen at the market recently and that we see are erasing and proceeding to erase are the following. The big data and BI, the business intelligence and decision making for enhancing the sales and revenue growth, the cloud and cloud solutions, the cloud for scalable and secure data processing, cloud as a service for fast performance and data delivery, and of course such a kind of already a buzzword, distributed ledger technology system that are at the moment utilized at the financial market. Also, the trends are and the technology trends that I would like to emphasize is the API economy. So this is how the trend and the technology that BFSI companies are only just starting to use in order to enhance their performance, and that is actually a huge market to be discovered in future. What is actually the state of the industry at the moment of the financial services? They are disrupted. The classical financial institutions are being disrupted by fintechs, the companies who are blending together the technology, the competence, and the understanding of the internal needs of the customers at the market. So they are actually biting out the parts of the business of the classical financial institutions. And they started from the very small pieces of mobile payments and online payments. Then they moved drilling down to the core business step by step. And as we see at the moment, they do already start to come closer and closer to the core financial services, the core operations provided by the classical financial institutions. And those companies have to be aware of this threat and either to partner with these companies or to compete with them. But actually, what is the right decision and how to operate in such a market? The way out must be and has to be the digital transformation, embracing the challenge to change your core business, aligning with the needs arise in the market at the moment. So the view on the digital transformation for financial services providers can have two views, the external and the internal one. So the external one is everything connected with the user experience, with the personalization of the products, with the open banking and the specific omni-channel solutions. So the internal, the opposite side of the digital transformation, internal view, covers everything inside of the company, the operational process, the main operational business model. So, and this includes also the adaptive operational model, some specific flexible modules, real-time processing of big data, and scalable and secure infrastructure. And all that modules are driven by the risk and compliance factors, and are driven by the big data, analytics, and security. So, what to start actually from? What actually the digital transformation is, what is actually the purpose, and why do companies have to embrace the change? We conducted at SoftServe, we conducted research covering a few thousands of respondents throughout the world, the EU market and the US market. And actually, we found out that the main part of a huge part of the market of the customers that financial institutions are working with are the representatives of the Henry millennials, so-called high earners, not rich yet. So people, all those people are the largest in US history generation, and they do form a huge part of the market that companies are dealing with. And these people are very interested in banking, financial services, and insurance. They are very sensitive to flexibility of the solutions. They are very sensitive to convenient and very custom offerings from their vendors and from their services providers. And here are a few interesting facts from this research and this survey. So we see that more than 89% of Henry millennials say the quality of their digital experience impacted the financial services companies they choose. So they impact the bank they are choosing for getting the services. And actually, more than 68% of these people say that the quality of their digital experience is critical, or even just very critical and strong factor in likelihood they would recommend a brand to others. So to spread the word about your organization, if you want to gain the new piece of the market, and if you want to be present in this market and not to lose your market share, you have to be ready to serve the services at the proper level that will align with the needs of this huge segment of the customers. And what actually you have to start with? So the solutions that the banking, financial services, and insurance companies have to provide in modern world, they have to embrace all points covering the data-driven digital insights. They have to cover the next generation technologies. They have to combine the digital marketing and the integrated customer experience all together in order to align it with digital enablers to form a solution that would be disrupting the market and keeping the market share or even increasing it. So what are actually the tips and tricks and buzzwords for fighting the legacy systems that already, that you know, are present in almost all the organizations of the financial sector. So you have to be aware of the fact that you have to know your customer. You just have to develop the digital strategy, and the strategy is not just changing the mobile app and making it user friendly or else. So it is not enough already. You have to utilize the design thinking approach, experience design when building your solutions, because your customers are striving for more. The digital transformation is not a single one-time action. It has to be a strategy for your organization. So you have to be aware of the fact that you're leveraging the most of your data, because the most valuable data is those that is already leveraged, because the big data is just a buzzword, but the leveraged big data is an advantage for you at the market. The live experience of your customer and blending together the digital and physical experience of the customer, anticipating their needs and even unaware needs, utilizing the new technologies, those that are at the hype at the moment, so the DLT and the NLP, for example, for AI, to use and utilize the solutions based on the cloud. So don't be afraid of the cloud. There is a prejudice that the cloud is insecure. It is actually not. So just don't be afraid to use the best of the best technologies in order to develop the solutions that will properly meet the unaware needs of your customers, those that are not obvious yet at the market. So we would like to cover a few interesting case studies that we had with our customers in our company, and the first one of them is concerning insurtech company, the US-based insurtech company, that the main challenge of the insurance market that the company detected was that to make a custom offering for the end client, for example, especially if they are sitting face to face, a broker or an agent has to go through hundreds and hundreds of offerings of hundreds of vendors and with hundreds of parameters, and they have to process all that information just on the go in order to suggest and come up with the solution, a suggestion for a customer based on their individual parameters. And all with different parameters are these documents, and in different formats also because different vendors have different systems and different ways they provide those documents and that information for the brokers and agents. So processing time is huge. Analytical conclusions also are subjective because this is all the human work. And our company partners with the insurtech company based in US in order to develop the solution, one of a kind sales accelerating platform actually. It covered real-time information dashboards, it covered mobile support, it covered high-impact sales content and insurance-specific CRM across customers' businesses. So the solution was actually an enterprise solution to make selling and buying insurance products fast, simple, and great digital experience both for the client and the end user and for the employee, the broker or the agent. So the platform had a few functional models, and the first one was analytical module for accurate and efficient business decision making. Also, the solution had a compliance module, this is obvious, a module to compare carriers and their offerings, the main analytical module, and a group of visualization modules for seamless customer experience for the employee to lead him from the very first moment of inputting some individual parameters that the customer needs, and to the very moment when the employee will get the executive dashboard with the comparison of different vendors and their offerings. The user and benefits and the customer benefits, this time I mean the customer, the company that we were partnering with, actually were huge because the processing time for the employee decreased tremendously, and the usability of the system and the usability of processing the information, the analytical part, was very just smooth. So the very wide functionality was covered. The multi-format inputs processing the documents, the parceling the data in different formats and extracting the specific parameters from the documents, and especially the interaction design and data visualization for the smooth experience. And the other one I would like to cover now, next one, is the one window with an integrated solution. It was developed for a large European bank. The bank was a part of investment group, a huge consortium, and they provided a wide range of banking services, the corporate and retail, in both segments. But they had a challenge. The bank, as a classical institution, has some kind of a zoo of the applications. So just only in the selling process of the banking product, they had from 3 to 8 systems to be engaged in order to actually sell something for the end user. And that was causing a huge delays. It was causing, it actually had a security hole when the sensitive data of the customer were exposed at the screens for a few times and in different systems. And to maintain all these Zoom applications was a great challenge, and to transfer knowledge to the newcomers and to onboard new employees was a huge challenge also. So in order to simplify the process and to make it scalable as far as the bank, our client had a very aggressive strategy in revenue growth. And when we conducted a series of workshops and the discovery phase, we found out that they are not able to scale their business with such IT infrastructure. So the solution, a single web-based application, was developed from scratch actually, and it covered a few modules and integrated all these disparate applications into one single window solution, single input solution. It decreased the client service time tremendously, and it provided the higher level performance for the employee, and provided a security increase as far as all the data was all the sensitive data of the clients were processed only in one tool. The direct business values were also just the value for the business was that it significantly reduced the load of supporting team, as it is a web-based solution and can work in web browser without installation supplementary software. So the huge security enhancement, as it eliminated saving any sensitive client data on users' desktops. So the solution was developed and from scratch, and it had a few milestones. The service-oriented architecture with enterprise service bus. It was as an additional layer for communication and interaction with other systems within the bank, our customer. The sales processes for all required banking products and services were also realized in the scope of the project. And also the process engine was developed for process management. It was an easy system modification to bind various steps among themselves and define the rules for transition between steps. So in this case, it was an enterprise solution for integrating for the front office operations of the bank. And this is actually what we wanted to cover this time.
Great. So thank you very much, Antonina, for your insightful presentation.
You're welcome.
And now let's move on to questions. Um, right. So let me
Do we have?
check. We have a couple of emails here with the questions. Okay. So here's the first question. In the cases that you've described, did you own the business part of the solution? I mean, were you involved in defining the product logic and customer needs, or were you just implementing what was stated to be done?
A very good question. Thank you a lot for it, and a very interesting one actually, because in the first case, we covered mostly the technology part. We developed the algorithm for parceling the data and extracting the parameters from the documents. And process the images. And we also developed a UI approach for executive dashboarding and the implementation, of course. And in the second one, this one with the European bank, we actually owned the whole process. As a result of the project, we actually owned the whole process of developing the solution, because in this case, the company originally was asking just to to shape, somehow we can say it in this way, to shape this one of the system from those 3 to 8 systems that were the part of the IT infrastructure. But when we came to assess the IT infrastructure as a part of our so-called, we have such an approach, a smart start approach. We have a discovery phase and the consultancy assessment of the architecture or IT environment, IT infrastructure. And we found out that this current IT infrastructure and the solutions that they are using, they would not allow the business to scale in the future, just at least in 2 years already. So, and as far as we knew that the executives, we conducted a series of workshops and interviews with the C-level executives, and we had the information that they have a very aggressive strategy on the market. But we actually detected the risk for them, and we stated that this is not the proper approach to digital, such a buzzword, digital transformation. And we offered another way. So we said that it would be better to integrate and to develop another solution that we will extract the best functional parts from all these systems they are using at the moment. But it has to be the new one solution based on new technologies and with a new approach of development. So in this case, we did own the business part absolutely, from the very beginning to the very end. Yes. So I hope that I answered your question.
Okay. And then we have another question, Antonina. Dealing with financial resources is a complex thing with strict regulations, etc. Substituting any system is a big risk for business and for performance. What if it will fail? How to deal with that?
To deal with if the substituting the system will fail. Okay, so absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for the question, and the question is very interesting, and you're absolutely right. Any changes, especially when you are dealing with the legacy systems and inside of the financial segment, it is a huge risk for the organization. As far as very often the software, the current software the company is using is very outdated, but still perfectly working. But at the same time, the company is aware that there are inside risks, so just internal constraints that will, for example, block the future growth of the revenue or the scalability of the system, of the future performance. If it will be overloaded, just the load will increase in case the business grows. So just and the sense of overhauling the legacy systems is not to crash something. The sense is it's not to utilize the budget and to say the specific buzzwords, market, just digital transformation or something like that. But the main purpose has to be to enable companies' revenue or just the system performance as a result of your actions. So it is about utilizing company's internal resources and data that the company has, and to developing with your partner, technology partner, vendor, a solution to leverage your internal resources and to use the expertise of the third party, the vendor, in order to build a solution that will enable your company to grow at the market and to buy some piece of a new market share or to increase the performance. So it is a huge risk, but in this case, my suggestion, and this is our approach at our company that we use, you have to use the approach of slicing the elephant. So you have to start with the assessment of the strategy, assessment of the digital strategy, assessment of the core software infrastructure. So to start with the assessment of the security services, and to start with that. So just to be sure that you developing the solution, that you come up with the right solution for your business, and you have to use those approaches that I was just talking about a few slides previously, the design thinking approach. You have to know the customer, for whom are you changing those legacy systems, and you have to be aware of internal challenges that you have got inside of your organization in order to come up with the perfect match of the solution. And you do have to partner with the vendor you trust in order to develop the perfect solution for specifically your business, and to decrease this risk, and to start with some kind of a proof of concept, for example, or to the short time discovery phase, to that will to make a research of your current state inside of the organization, of the current business processes and the IT infrastructure and security infrastructure of your business, and based on that, the deliverables of this part, come up with a strategy for the digital transformation, and only then plan your budgeting for this huge program, because actually it is a program. So you have to. I see these steps.
Right. So thank you again, Antonina, for your very insightful presentation.
Thank you, everyone, that you come up.